Welcome back to the number one fitness podcast in Australia, Melbourne Strength Cultures podcast. Today we have a special guest. Today we manifest it, boys. It will happen. Today we have a special guest, Coach Jarrad K from the Sixth Principle, the Speed Project. Collab.
Yeah, collab. We're gonna cross them over soon.
Eventually. My old roommate back in the days of 305. A lot of people out there probably know the place. What else? St. Peter's Football Club.
Yep, we go a long way back.
De La Salle
Football Club with Charles.
Yep. Footy
pie.
pie.
I don't know. Is there anything else? Have we missed anything?
No, I think that's it.
That's
That
it.
covers it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
We got the Mecca in there. The
Yep.
305.
Yep.
Bentley.
Going to turn your mic up a little bit. Yeah, so obviously we wanted to get Jarrad on because I think he's doing some cool fucking shit in the industry. There's some new flavour coming up through the Sixth Principle and the Speed Project, and we wanted to discuss it all. Obviously, we had Tom Wilson on about a month ago.
My guy, Tommy. Wheat
Bix, who we loved. He's a sick cunt.
Yeah, he's a funny man.
Yeah.
He's a great individual.
And obviously you put us on through, or he connected with us through yourself. So we're like, let's fucking...
Big man crush on Buzz.
Oh, really?
Massive.
Oh, mate, add him to the list. Buzz has got a fucking trail behind him at the moment.
Yeah, my foray into ethnic comedy has it's garnered some fans. I got an image the other day with Wheat Bix. When I saw it, like, I'm not the biggest footy fan, but you know, obviously know who Scott Pendlebury is, and I see a photo with Tom Wilson and Scott Pendlebury saying "squeeze it" across the front, and I'm like, all right, so something, yeah, all right,
It's taken off. Yeah.
squeeze it. So yeah,
Is it rolling around your gym?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. People are still learning that mind muscle connection.
All right, yeah, crazy.
A lot of novices.
Yeah.
But there are a few fans, a few Buzz fans at my gym.
It's too much speed and power for mind muscle connection. We're not looking for sensation. We're looking for output.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
fast, brother.
talk us through. I know I just give you a random dot point intro, but what do you do? Who do you help? What's your services? And let's get this thing rolling.
Yeah, so I guess I've kind of fell into that realm of business owner like yourself now. A lot more time spent off the gym floor, kind of just trying to build up two businesses at once, which I don't recommend people to do.
Nice.
I reckon focus on one first, build that up, and then maybe start the other one. Don't want to touch on COVID too much because fuck that thing, but
Yep.
Speed Project came because of COVID.
Yep.
Like we were sitting there and I go, well, I got nothing to bloody do for the next 6 months. So I said, oh, well, maybe speed training is going to be something where we can do continually outside. And yes, Dan broke a lot of rules during lockdown.
Didn't we all?
We all did.
So my business partner...
Wait, you're saying you didn't abide by your 5 kilometre radius?
Nah, Moorabbin track's 5.2.
Rollins from there.
Oh, yeah, easy as.
Give or take.
Easy as. And I only went out for 1 hour a day.
At a time? Yeah.
yeah. Per client. But no. Yeah, I guess my business partner, Ash Gudgeon, he kind of had the concept of the Speed Project, sprint training, and then I saw that little hole in the market. Like you guys are filling a hole in the market with what you do. Athletes, they need to be fast. Most field-based, court-based sports, speed is...
Killer.
Yeah, it's a killer. Speed kills. We all hear that thing. Speed is... It's like that thing. Strength is sexy and speed is that fucking thing on top, which all our athletes have got to have. So big hole in the market where we go, all right, let's train field-based athletes how to sprint. Everyone has seen field-based. Like, we played footy, Charlie. You were pretty fast. Most
people actually don't think this.
Charlie was fast.
Charlie was a monster.
Yeah.
He used to take the best marks,
Yeah.
like full blown.
He was an athlete.
I don't know if I was fast. I was okay.
You just couldn't run long distances. Like you're the typical
I didn't have a
like
tank.
centre half forward that
Fast
just
twitch.
didn't. But not that you played centre half forward, but you just didn't have the tank.
I didn't have a tank.
All I ever remember from you playing footy is that photo where you're playing for the Pirates and you're just sitting on people, taking that screamer.
I think that was for the Greek team. The
Yeah.
Harmony Cup.
It was
Harmony Cup. Back in the day.
You wouldn't even read about it.
The Harmony Cup.
We need to get the Harmony Cup going again. And
I think it is.
I think it just happened.
I think it did. I think it is.
Yeah.
But all the guys that I played with in the Greek team have nothing to do with it now. So it's like
It's a new wave of Greeks.
new
I
batch
reckon-
of people.
surely Melbourne Strength Culture can fill the Greek team out.
I reckon we could
Easy.
fill it
Easily.
in.
But yeah,
Although we could fill an ethnic team. I don't know if it would be full Greek, but we could fill an
Oh.
ethnic team.
I don't know. I reckon
Nah, 'cause
Greek
they've already-
will win.
Can you enter it as
is
Team
Catan-
Chocks? If you had a Team Chocks, what would
Yeah,
the
we
flag
could-
be?
100%.
What would the flag be?
Steak sandwiches.
Yes, a steak. I was just going to say steak. Euro.
Just a steak singer.
VL Turbo.
Oh, what an emblem.
Yeah.
Canary yellow. BT1 interceptor. Cracker.
I wonder if those people actually went and watched Fat Pizza, the ones we said the homework to.
Well, you went and had a pizza, didn't you?
Yeah.
You had a magic pizza. How was
pizza. It was Hattie, he sorted me out.
What'd you get?
I got the Mexicana.
Nice.
Yeah,
Have to.
Mexicana was good, large Mexicana. So I want to throw this out to a challenge. Next guest that comes in Melbourne, the Queensland people, I'll leave you alone. But if you're coming on this pod, you have to have a Hectic Eats place the night before so we can talk about it.
We can talk about it.
We're gonna try to set that in motion.
Well, there'll be more and more hectic eats rolling up, so there'll be more opportunities.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking about it, just demanding people that we want on the podcast. Hey, we want you on the podcast, but if you want to be on the podcast, then you got to go eat something.
You got to go eat a
Hectic
pizza.
Eats.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all Sauls and Industria are both shut at night, so you have to go during the day.
Yeah, make them work hard.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If you make them work hard, it tastes better.
You want this clout?
You know-
You better fucking do something for it.
Well, I had to go to East Malvern last night after I was in Keysborough, and then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking drive all the way from East Malvern to Magic
That's
Pizza
the commitment we want.
to get the pizza.
I love it.
Worth it.
Commitment.
It was 100% worth it.
Magic
Crazy.
Pizza's mad.
And you met Hattie. Or you'd already-
I know
Yeah,
Hattie.
yeah.
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 We'd had a few encounters.
Yeah, nice.
You would've.
So let's go back to the speed stuff. So obviously with Tom was speaking very highly of you. If you haven't checked out the Tom Wilson episode of the podcast, highly recommend it. Tom Wilson, ex basketball player, pro basketball player, although it sounds like he didn't get paid much when he was a pro player from the Serbian club,
Yeah, not
which
a
is
lot.
actually crazy. And then he's now transitioned to AFL, but you've obviously been helping him since the junior, and he spoke highly of you helping a bunch of juniors coming up through the ranks over the last, I don't know, what, half a dozen years, 6 years or so?
It's probably building up to 8 years now.
Yep.
Like I started coaching 8 years ago.
Yep.
And to think, like I tell this story often, but to think some of my first clients were Jack Higgins, Bailey Smith, some young kids who are just getting into strength training, and now you look at them and
They're big time players.
yeah,
superstars.
big time players.
The King Boys.
The King Boys, yeah. Andy McGrath, Jack Scrimshaw, Tim Turano. So like this was my initial client list, and you look at that from a coach, personal trainer point of view, and you go, all right, who was my initial clients? Most people often start out with their friends or family
Gen
members
Pop.
or
Yeah.
the person that comes in and wants to lose 20 kilos, and your boss flicks them off to you because they can't be bothered dealing with them. So I got a good introduction into what strength training and S&C was all about with my clients, because these were really, really committed kids. And I remember I used to take them to
How'd you find them? Where'd you get them from?
I was involved with coaching. So I'm still involved with coaching now. Just recently joined in at Saints NGA, working with their under 15s. But my involvement through coaching, East Malvern. The East Malvern was a mecca for talented footballers. So through my assistant role there, I met Jack Higgins and Bailey Smith and a couple others that ended up on AFL lists.
Yep. Very nice. And then obviously now, so I know you very well, but we spent some time in America, and I know you got a huge influence from American sport and what they do over there. So Tom was talking about these off-season what are the pro sessions?
Yeah.
How does this come about? How does this start? How's it come about? How have you made this possible here in Australia? Because it hasn't really been done before.
Yeah, so I guess the way we looked at it was, you look at Instagram. Instagram's such a big thing now. Instagram, TikTok, and you're looking at their training videos and you're going, fuck, that's actually cool. That's like what you guys are doing with your content now. You're making it more relatable to everyday person. Not just, all right, here is me doing a bench press and this is why you should do it. It's just making it fun and cool, and people go, oh fuck, they're having fun doing it, and they're getting results doing it as well. So maybe I'll take that up and adopt that as well. So we looked at what they do over there and go, the best of the best get together. And that integration happens from that college level, because they all go to colleges together. They all know each other from a real young age, and they train in these high performance environments, these private environments over there. They go in there in the off season and they all just get after it together. They grind together. They make these sick videos. They integrate it between field-based sessions, gym-based sessions, them all just hanging out, doing their skills training. So Tom and I were like, all right, why can't we do that here? At the moment, Australian sport isn't that sexy.
Not at all, mate.
Like, you look at the AFL players walk into pre-game and they flash pan them, and they just, some of them will be wearing a suit. And you go, oh, cool. All right, a suit, or they're just wearing slacks and a polo. Over in America, those guys are wearing bloody dresses. They're bloody wearing
Drip.
whatever they want.
Drip, drip.
Shout out to Finn, an ex-intern, absolute weapon of a kid. He actually sends me LeBron James outfits, and we try to determine what it's worth. We just go back and forth. What's the chain worth? What's the pants? What's the slacks worth?
I actually had that, and Hazy will be listening to this because he listens to every episode. But yesterday, the same thing. He showed me Harden, and he goes, "That's like a $12,000 jacket."
Yeah,
and I said, "Oh, Jamie and one of our old interns do this, where they guess the kits of like NBA players and stuff."
Yeah, that's how he sent me. He sent me LeBron pissed off his head off tequila at the Super Bowl, and just saw the watch, and I'm like, man, that's because I follow this watch guy on on YouTube, Nico something. He's very funny, but. I know that watch is like in high demand.
Richard Mille or something.
No, it's a Tiffany. It's a Tiffany PK, and it's worth. It sold at auction for like $5.3 million or something. And LeBron's just wearing this on his wrist. Like, it's just not even. It's obviously the money's one thing, but like it's just a different culture. It's a different everything. But we are heavily influenced by America here in Australia. Like, you can.
Yeah, 100%.
You can try and evade it, but it's true.
If you have a look at some of the streetwear that's coming out now, like the Ish Pig streetwear, it's mad. The Push Pull streetwear, Tom, his best mates.
Tom was saying that we might be able to get them on here, yeah.
They'd be a wicked story. Like, they're just a garage brand that's built their way up, and now they're starting to edge over to big time in professional sports. Like, every AFL player that I know owns a Push Pull hoodie.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to edge into that American market as well. If like they take it off in America, man, they're gonna be throwing money up in the air and bloody doing dives into it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, you see you see this American style of off-season training, collaboration between different clubs, even some different sports and stuff. Like, they really do mix it up. And like, so you and Tom got this idea.
Yeah, so we had the idea, and we were like, all right, let's see who we can band together. We want many guys from different clubs, and we'll just do a little story about each of them. The pro sessions that we did one year, the cameraman we had, Luke Windsor, he was unbelievable.
Yep.
Like, his work is exceptional. He works at Collingwood, and unfortunately, he's just too busy. We couldn't get him in for a second season, so we did a more speed project kind of set up this year with our new videographer, Bella. So shout out to Bella. Hopefully she listens. But yeah, we decided that we'll do a little story about it. I don't know if you guys have watched the whole thing, a little doco, but there was a kind of little backstory to how I met each of these athletes and how they started training with us and what they're trying to achieve. And that's the same thing, man. They're just trying to get a new look on life for that 6 to 8 weeks that they're not in the club. They're not being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. They want a bit of free time. Like, being a pro athlete, I'm not too sure because I'm not a pro athlete, but it's very demanding. Like, from external, you look at it and go, oh, fuck, being a pro athlete would be the best. Get to just, that's my full-time job. I get food given to me at the club. I make lots of money, but the rigours, and even like, I walk down the street with Harry Mackay sometime, and it takes us, if we're on Chapel Street, it takes us 5 minutes to get a couple hundred metres. Yeah. Every man and his dog wants to stop, get a photo, talk to him, have a bit of banter. Like, for me, like, I know it's awesome when you get recognised when you go out.
A couple here and there, yeah. It's good fun. It is
and
good
we talk about, like the funny thing, I was wearing a Push Pull hoodie, and I was at Baker's Delight, and the kid goes, oh, man, Push Pull, it's a sick hoodie. I'm like, oh, yeah, the guy trained in my gym a little bit. And he goes, oh, are you Jarrad K? Yeah, I follow your page, man. You're sick. And I was just like, oh, that's really cool. I'm getting noticed at bloody Baker's Delight.
Baker's Delight, making that bread, man.
In that walked out with an inflated head. It was drip. Yeah, so going back to what the pro session's about, we just wanted to put together some videos about some cool training, and really it becomes a product. Yeah. Like, we know this, it becomes a product. People see that and go, all right, if I want to play AFL, I want to train like these guys. I want to train at Jarrad's gym, the Sixth Principle, and hopefully that we can start integrating some of what they're doing to develop into being a professional athlete one day. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun, man, training these AFL guys. They're all really good fellas. Like, it's a pinch me moment when I trained with him yesterday, Pendles, and we're just talking shit, training for an hour, and I go, fuck, he's one of the best AFL players.
Last
standing
50 years, 100 years.
Right next to me in my gym, and we're just chit-chatting. He's just a regular guy that happens to have the games record at Collingwood and be one of the best players to play the game.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And then you got other guys who, like Harry Mackay, Max King, these young up-and-coming forwards, and you've got them in your gym, you've got them working with you, they trust you, you build that relationship over time where you can go, all right, I think with your feedback, this is going to be the best plan for us to get what you want out of your program.
Yeah.
And they love it. They love the individual attention because they don't necessarily get that at a club. Even being a big marquee player like them, they're not necessarily getting one-on-one attention. And you would know this from your very, very brief stint. It's 40 athletes, 3, 4, 5 coaches. And I actually... Yeah, and I feel sorry for guys in the private sector because I know how hard they work and I know it's such a ladder climb to get up there. And one day I look at it and go, all right, eventually I do want to do some private sector work. I'd love to work in the AFL, but I'm going to do it my way. Instead of climbing up the ladder, I'm going around the back and jumping over the fence.
The Cressy strat, mate.
Yeah, I think that's the most gangster way because, like, I looked at it and I think you look at it, especially in Australia, it's like that's the only way to work with pro athletes. Whereas if you look at the US, you've got like guys like Cressy, you've got Landau Performance, you've got Joe DeFranco, and all these guys in.
Man, put Jordan Shallow in that group 100% now, man. He's
sure.
fucking dealing every...
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. But that's a career pathway there. Whereas here, it's like, no. You've got to play the game. You've got to just work your way up through the ranks. And if, and it's a big if you actually get that chance. And that's when I saw you doing the pro sessions. It's like, man, like literally... No one's doing that in the area. And I don't want to fucking say you did too much, but it's fucking mad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you come up and it's like you want to work with athletes. And the thing is, it's just not a career pathway. And it deters so many people and it leaves a bad taste in so many people's mouths because it's just like, oh, I've worked in it for however many months and then AFL player quit and he took my job. And it's just like, or months, years, man. And that's like such a harsh reality. So credit to you, bros.
Yeah,
and
it's like women's AFL now, which is amazing. It's getting a lot of funds pumped into it, and the AFL are trying to bring it up to the same level the AFL is, which is awesome because we want the products to reflect each other. However, you've got people working there at a part-time job, and they're getting paid absolutely next to nothing, which it sucks for them because they should be getting paid the same as the counterparts of what the male programs are doing, even if the full-time hours kind of reflect differently and the seasons are shorter. If we want better standards, we need to kind of rise the standards all above the industry. And that's the whole thing with pro sport. Like, so many people are willing to eat shit for a long time.
Yeah.
And if, like, you're willing to eat shit for a long time, then you're not really doing a betterment for our industry. Like, the people who go, yeah, I'll do that role for $4,000 for the year. You go, well, no. Like, kind of push back a little bit and say, hey, I'm worth this. If you're not going to pay me it, guess what? I'm going to go make my mark elsewhere.
It's such a tough one, though.
I've sort of lost hope that the Australian S&C sector, this is the elite side, is going to change. I really have I've kind of lost hope.
See, that's like, as much as I want to agree with you, I just don't know if it's possible. Like, you think just supply and demand. How many exercise and sport graduates want to work with pro athletes? And it's sad. Like, it's sad reality. You want to go in, 15 people want one job. It's like, yeah, all right, $4,000, take it for the season.
Someone's going to say yes.
And someone's going to say yes, which is, it's just like, I don't know. I wish it would, like, there was a solution, but it's just fucking sad. I don't know. It's sad to me.
And this is probably my favorite thing that Woody's ever done is just made the private sector such a big opportunity. Like, it's really just opened the door for so many of us to just be like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. I am going to go and find these kids, get them young, build them up. 6 years down the track, I'll start paying the dividends of the work I was doing back then. Was if you're climbing the ladder of elite sport, it's like, well, 6 years down the track, like, we've got a story. You just get swallowed by, again, an AFL guy who comes out, boys club, here you go. Like,
see you later.
I don't know, like, the private sector, it just makes so much sense. Obviously, we're in it and we could see the value of it, but I don't know. I have lost faith of the elite.
I see two ways that...
I'd love to speak to Lockie Wilmot about this.
Yeah,
obviously,
he would be great.
And when we go to Sydney, I'm going to try and... I speak to him semi-regularly in the DMs, just back and forth to each other. So I'm sure we'll get him on. But I reckon he'll be a good one because he's done it successfully at both fronts, highest level possible. So he'd be a great one from Australia. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's two ways. If you look at the AFL, Australia's biggest sport, there's two ways it can go. Privatise, where clubs can pump in as much money for resources as they want. Because currently they've got soft caps for physio, massage, S&C staff, all of that. And the coaching, like the actual skill and tactical coaching, that takes up such a big spend of that department. Like, people correct me if I'm wrong about that, but that's one way. The other way I see that pro sport can go down is start subcontracting.
Yeah.
So even to a bigger degree, like I know a lot of AFL clubs, they'll bring in a specialist tackling coach or they'll bring in a specialist this coach. In the past, it has been sprint coaches. And that's what we're trying to get into the market of now with the Speed Project. We're trying to get to a level where people see our stuff and go, all right, we see a place for them to come in for 8 to 10 weeks, do a couple blocks of sprint training. We're going to subcontract out to them. But again, I don't know how that fits in the spend, but I would love to see clubs privatise. Like, imagine the Saints privatised. That'd be unreal. They have an owner, Jamie Sackville. I know he wants to buy the Saints.
Yeah, fucking oath, man.
But I think you've got to let, like most American sports over there.
Actually, no, I didn't even think about that. There's no owners with like
The AFL owns
clubs.
everything.
AFL owns it all.
I did not know that.
Yeah, no. So like, Liverpool's owned by Like LeBron James technically owns part of Liverpool because Fenway Sports Group own Liverpool. So they do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
They own it. It's like Jamie owns string culture. He does what he wants.
I think the best thing the AFL has done recently with their grassroots programs is these next gen academies. I'm really impressed with how the Saints one's organised and structured. I've heard good things about it, and I think other clubs are doing the same thing, where they're really building this. Like when we were around, it was South Metro, like MSJFL, and you go play your interleague. It's the exact same thing. Instead of training for 4 to 6 weeks leading into Queen's birthday, now they train all year. They train for 30 weeks. They get testing. They get the whole holistic approach.
So these are like your junior kids that are selected throughout the clubs, like the top 5% of maybe each team or whatever that go into the a higher level.
Yeah.
And what it rolls? Is it a full season now?
Now they train once a week. Like 30 weeks of the year, and then they'll play the Queen's birthday games. So they'll play all the other leagues or academies or whatever they are.
Yeah.
So they've changed. So because when we did it was MSJFL, and they picked it was the interleague. So now it's the what do you call it, the NGA?
Yeah, Next Gen Academy. So it's gone back to, you remember when the AFL back in the 90s,
under 19s,
had their areas. So if you were in this, and then even before that, when it was the VFL, if you lived in this area, you'd go play for St Kilda, being in Moorabbin.
Yeah, there was no draft.
So it's kind of like that now. Saints will have their area. All the kids that live there, bang, they go there. And then for the Sandringham Dragons pathway, the best kids of the 15s, they get invited to the 16s. So that's how it's all operated now. So instead of just being plucked out of under 15s, now you could be in a system from under 13s all the way through to under 18s.
Actually, this would be a good conversation with you because I know a lot of people do have. I think we actually spoke about it a little bit with Tom, but the idea that like the drafting age of 18-year-olds in Australia compared to like in the US system, we have obviously the college thing, which I believe is the pivotal piece that we miss in Australian sport is the whole everything that happens through those 3 or 4 years at college is what has created this huge disparity between American sport and Australian sport, in my eyes.
Oh, absolutely. So I look at it and go, everyone now is about the AFL, and I know we're segregating ourselves to one sport here, but everyone's like, oh, you need to be able to run. Like it's not about gym, it's not about weights, it's not about this, it's just about your ability to run. Then you go, all right, yes it is, it's a very fast game, but also look at the last few guys that have won the Brownlow medal. Ollie Wines.
Tank.
Jacked.
Dustin Martin.
Bull.
So these guys are absolute friggin' units.
Paddy Dangerfield.
Yeah,
Bull.
Dangerfield. It's like you're now looking at the best of the best, the guys who are voted by the umpires as the most standout players. They all have one thing in common. They're fast, they're fit, and they're fucking massive.
Yeah.
So size does have a big place in, and I think putting the draft age back to 19 or 20 to kind of reflect what it is like in America, and maybe you can have your standouts, like the kids who come through the program who are like built like Ollie Wines was, because he was a massive tank when he was 18. Instead of some of the 18-year-olds I've seen coming through, they're 2-3 years away. Yeah. And even the tall ones like that we see, they could be 3-4 years away.
They look like children.
Yeah, and then if you reflect back on this and I don't know, again, this is up for negotiation and everyone's opinions, but you look at teams like GWS and Gold Coast, they were throwing all these young kids into mass amounts of training from a really young age. And by the time they were 20, they were playing 50-odd games, which at most clubs wouldn't happen unless you were an outlier, like an absolute freak. then look at all their injuries. GWS, all their best players have had season-ending injuries, some of them multiple times. ACLs or syndesmosis injuries or really bad tendon. Like, look at Jaeger and Mira. I know some of them are unlucky, some of them are contact-based, but is it too much load?
Too soon.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Like, you got to look back at that model and go, all right, Gold Coast GWS got to draft 20 or 30 young kids, 17 to 18, and they put them into the rigors of training. I'm sure the people in charge knew what they were doing, but also that exposure to just the bigger bodies, the harder hitting bodies, the faster game. Maybe we can extend career longevity by pushing it back a couple of years.
Yeah. It's a really interesting point because I think I definitely subscribe to that idea that there's a few years there that just don't make sense when you talk about the development. And like we can even think about it like people that we've had influence with like young guys, young lifters that were 17, 18, 19, 20. And it's just like, how is this guy going to go and play a fucking contact sport with literally men? Like even a local footy, you see it. Like there's just men that roll around. You're like, this guy's going to kill a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I know strength underpins a lot of things, but it's not at the be all and end all. But I've seen guys come out of the AFL system, been there for 2 years. They come back into the gym and some of their big compound lifts, they're barely hitting
Trash.
1.5 times body weight.
Oh man.
And if they do, it's kind of sloppy and not great. And then I go, they're like, oh, I know I'm a bit weak. I know I'm a bit behind. I go, to be honest, I've got 15-year-olds in here who are hitting double body weight easy.
Yeah.
Easy. So, like, I don't know what you've been doing the last 2 years. Like, where are we falling down? Like, is there still a massive emphasis on strength training, long-term athlete development in these junior pathways and programs and in the AFL system? And I don't want to speak negatively on what's happening there, but some people just seem to miss the boat.
Yeah.
I don't know if it comes down to the individual, which it possibly could, how much commitment and time and dedication they've got to their training, but like you see some people come out of the system and you go, how are you in the system for 2 years?
Yeah. It's I my first like full like shock moment was the first day when I was interning at Cressy. I went in there because just an influx of kids come in after school time. It's like 3:30, 4 o'clock. I'm talking like 50, 60 between the age of 14 to 17 walk in the gym, and it's literally like a lifting party. Like what we experienced down on like a Friday afternoon. It's the same thing, but they're all like 14, 15, 16-year-olds. And they come in and they're trap barring 140s, 180s. There was a guy reverse split squatting 3 plates. He's in high school. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, it just doesn't make any sense when then you bring it back to Australia and you see it. I know it happens. When I was at Carlton, the 3 biggest names at Carlton didn't do strength training when I was there because they literally would come off the track and they'd be like, fuck it.
Call him out.
Yeah.
Call him out.
Daisy Thomas.
Was it Chris Yarran?
Is he being?
No, Yarran got the Yarran was fine because he had the record of one of their running things at the time.
Hasn't Thomas been in a good paddock? I see him
I
every
haven't seen him at
Saturday.
all.
Sports bet updates. I see him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's been in a good paddock
right.
days.
Yeah, he's on the TV now.
Yeah.
It's a
He's a
proper
weapon.
gig.
Yeah. Sports bet. I think it's sports bet. Yeah. But it's the thing with like we look at, and I said this on the event Jack McLean hosted last Thursday. Strength training is getting a lot better across the board. Yeah, the standard is getting a lot better across the board. So that's where we go, all right, where's the hole in the market now? And that's sprint training for athletes. And I was going to make this point earlier, but everyone can think back to a football field or team they belong to if they played football or just from observing and go, all right, the really fast guy from athletics, he comes to footy and no one can catch him, but the guy can't kick. Every fucking kick he does sprays off the side of his boot. It's a bit like my kicking, but... And then you've got the kid who can run a sub-6 2K. And you're like, oh, awesome. Can you find the ball?
No.
And you watch him, and when they're doing match sim or on games, he's just running in circles. Awesome, mate. You covered 12K. You touched it 3 times. That's 1 possession every 4K. And you go, all right, where can we kind of find the right balance?
Yeah.
And all the blokes we worked with, other than Andy McGrath, who was a national champion 400-metre runner, they've never, ever been exposed to sprint training.
Yeah.
You get them down to do a 4-point start, and you can argue they're never going to 4-point start on the footy field. Yeah, but they're going to fucking get up off the ground.
Yeah.
So it's relatable. It's transferable. We go, all right, 4-point starts. 90% of them have never done it. And I'll tell this story quickly, Charlie, because you'll love it. Maxi King rolled down one day and we wanted him to race the big H because H is pretty quick over 60. He runs like a 7.3, 7.2.
Harry Mackay.
Harry Mackay. Harry was pretty... He thought he'd have him covered. Max rolled in. We're like, all right, Max, warm up, then we'll race him. We raced him over 360s. Max won each one. Quite easy. He hit 40k an hour, which is...
Fast.
Oh, I was thinking it was like 39 something, but super fast.
He's also very tall.
Yeah. Once his legs get going, mate, it's like watching a gazelle run.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and we're like, all right. So Max won. He was all up and about. Everyone was watching. It was a good bit of an entertainment. And then we go, all right, Max, go do your conditioning running now. He goes, no, I already done that. Already ran 12k. I'm like, wait, you ran 12k, you come here, you sprinted, and you still hit 39ks. He goes, yeah. I was like, how fucking athletic are you?
That's
like,
crazy.
unbelievable what he could do. And yeah, he was a bit of a sprinter when he was at school as well. But most of them haven't been exposed to sprint training. We go back to Pendles. He'd never been exposed to speed training.
It's crazy.
So he, still at the age of 33, 34, was like, all right, I can get better by doing this. And you start to look at these athletes that we idolise, your Tom Brady's, your LeBron James, your Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. These guys are they're in father time and they're still
40.
the best in the world.
They still dominate.
They're still dominating. So can AFL start to move towards that? If, again, reverting back to this point, we're not fucking their bodies up at 18, 19.
No, I was just going to say, and you probably tend to agree with this too, I do feel like, and you also playing footy, that the mindset between in AFL is very old school.
Yeah.
Like as a whole, I don't know, you've got more exposure now. I haven't played for a 5 or so years, but it was very...
What was the decision that you stopped playing football? What happened, Charlie?
Because I just... Well, one I was...
The one event. What was the one event that happened at footy training?
I didn't finish the 3K time trial.
Oh, no. Didn't the guy make you do back rolls in the wet?
Oh, yeah. I was just like, I'm done with this. I'm done. Look, I was done probably anyway. I figured it out. I was done. We lost the grand final. I didn't really want to play again. Like, when I knew I was like, I don't want to play again because I'm not even hungry to go again and try and win a flag. I was done. But then all the dumb training as well. I was just like, this is... And I was starting to learn more about this type of training we're doing. Obviously, very much more strength. I haven't really worked with many athletes. But, yeah, just the dumb shit. I was like, I just can't buy into it anymore. And I wish I had someone like you when I was 16, 17. I would have loved to have done speed. I would have loved to have done speed training to try and improve playing footy because that was definitely a flaw of mine but that just wasn't around.
Yeah.
Didn't exist.
And look, I see that as a big component of my job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to keep people playing sport. I want to keep playing, and I want to encourage people to keep playing sport. Because even just for your mental health and a lot of other areas, it's great to get away from the bloody wife, kids, whatever, your job. Just time away from
You are getting old, mate. You are getting fucking old. What is going on here?
I remember I played with...
What is going on here?
Wait, I'm veteran status in the footy
You
club.
are 30 is veteran status.
Yeah, I'm veteran status. Well, I just got told, I don't know if this is confirmed, I got told if you play 100 games for the club, your kids get 20% off at the time. So I'm gunning for that, buddy.
100 games.
20% off, 100 games. I think I got another 3 years to go. So,
Jesus.
That's it is a good effort.
well, considering the last year we've played 8 games in 2 years, so
You're fresh.
Trash.
I always thought I was going to play till 30, and then it just,
You got too heavy, mate.
Oh, well, I wanted to lift weights. That was, at the end of the day, that's why I wanted to lift weights. I wanted to power lift. And
I love that perspective you have when you're younger, and then in hindsight, you go, fuck, I was such a naive idiot. I go, when I was 17, 18, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have kids by like 22, and then I'm going to have this and that. And now at 29, I'm going, if I fucking have a kid in the next
30.
12 months, I'm basically 30. If I have a kid in the next 12 months, I don't know how I'm going to live.
Yeah.
I don't know how it will live. Well, it will live, but...
You'll be right. Yeah, mate, it's the instincts kick in.
I still struggle, buddy, organising myself. But
The impulse, mate.
The
Loves the
impulse.
I have
impulse.
a lot of respect out there for the dads that we know, and their ability to play footy or play sport, train, deal with work and still look after their kid and keep it. But
Shouts out to fathers.
My brother came
Yeah,
in last
yeah,
Wednesday.
Lukey,
He
yeah.
benched 140.
Did he?
Yeah, and he's actually looking. I swear, I was like, "Fuck, you look jacked, man."
Weighs 90. I get photos regularly, weekly.
He's looking jacked.
He'll post one where he'll send me one where he's looking like sort of solid, and then he'll just like side profile and like push the gut out.
No, he's looking jacked.
He's 90 kilos.
He's
at the
big.
moment.
Shout out to Lukey.
So
It's like
and he benched
77 when
140.
we started.
Papu.
Benched
Papa.
140.
That's his thing. He's like, I want a dad bod. Is like, but the way I think of dad bod is like Johnny Monaro. So Johnny Monaro.
Johnny Monaro's jacked.
Charlie's dad. And he's a weapon.
Jacked. He's old.
He's old.
His knees are fucked. His knees are
Yeah, 'cause
absolutely fucked.
he's been walking on them sideways his
The
whole life.
surgeon, apparently the surgeon just can't believe that he's not in pain. He's like astounded because visually they're the worst knees I've ever seen, and he's still rolling around. I don't know if you've seen my dad's legs bowlegged.
Bowlegged? Yeah, I reckon I've seen him
Full
once.
blown.
Yeah.
Looks like he just got off a
Cowboy.
horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, just got off a horse.
Yeah, it's
He's a
fucked.
weapon though. Johnny Monaro,
Keeping a cowboy
absolute OG.
Yeah, footy.
No, footy was good. Footy pie.
Footy five. Footy was mad. I loved footy.
Yeah,
Mate, footy. And you know the best thing about, and I'll tell this story. It's a little bit funny. So obviously Jamie and I lived together for nearly, I think it was 2 years.
That was a
We
good
had
time.
a great
2.5.
relationship
2.5.
for 2 years. Yeah, we never had any arguments, and I'm like, oh, this living together thing's pretty fucking easy. And then I lived with Klaz, our mate Klaz, and that was still pretty easy. Like Klaz is minimal fuss.
I lived with Klaz as well.
Yeah,
Easy.
minimal fuss, buddy. I come home and the whole house
he
would
loves
be
to clean.
Loves to clean.
Loves to clean.
He loves to clean so much that when he was vigorously cleaning his bathroom out before he moved out, he broke the friggin' thing because he was cleaning it too hard.
Yeah, he
And
smashed
there
a
was
bit of
soap
glass.
dispenser.
It was
Yeah.
Deuce often says she misses our cleaning fairy because when we lived with Klaz, he used to clean the bathrooms. I don't clean the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Nah, I've cleaned them once or twice, but
And
not like Klaz.
My current housemate, I do really like the guy, but he gets under my skin a lot. And we both play in the same footy team. And here's the beautiful thing about footy. You see someone that you want to give a little bit of an extra hard bump to, and you just fucking try to run through them.
Yeah.
And it's all love and it's all
Easy.
fair.
It's all fun and games.
Easy. All right, we're gonna change
Good
gears.
for that aggression.
We're gonna change gears for
Oh,
a
we
bit.
used to have plenty of people like that at boxing.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Boxing's a bit different.
Boxing is a bit different.
Yeah, but still, extra
box.
clip.
This is why I want to do
it's sport.
jiu-jitsu. Because I just want to fucking choke.
You know what?
I don't think jiu-jitsu's like that, man. I went in thinking like that. Like
they're all
I've
very
got
respectful.
Like 92
No,
kilos, and they're all stoners. Not all of them.
Shots fired.
Big generalization, but a lot of them.
Jiu-jitsu are stoners.
Nah, big general. Nah, they love smoking it because apparently they get into a state of flow.
Somehow I don't
What
think
about
I'll be like
capoeira?
that.
Capoeira, yeah, that's a proper flow state.
I miss the physical side of footy. Nah, but yeah,
That's getting beeped out. That's gone.
beef that out. I thought it was gonna hit differently. It didn't. Anyway, no, I miss the I do miss the physical component, the competitive
Oh, absolutely.
tackling, bumping.
Just getting
all that
close.
kind of-
You know,
Heart to
one
heart,
more thing on footy
groin to
before-
groin.
Fucking this, mate. This has got me fired up.
Yeah, it's probably kicking in right now. About 30 minutes in.
I'm angry. Nah.
Yeah, but we want to switch gears to You're angry. You're gonna start fucking throwing elbows my way.
Jiu-jitsu's a bunch of stoners.
Stoners getting choked out. Getting choked out before and getting choked out during. I want to change gears to America. We're going to talk about our trip to America. And obviously we've got Will Crozier coming on in when we go to Queensland, Buzz. Big truck neck Crozier. And you never met him before until where were we?
No, I flew into Nashville. I met you guys in Nashville.
That was a time.
Oh, that was unbelievable. But, you know, funny story. Remember when we were planning our America trip and we'd listen to all those different American accents?
Yeah.
And we'd try to mimic the American accents?
Yeah, fucking yeah. We're like
Can
top
you
20.
give us your
no
best
idea.
Alabama?
Alabama was like a draw out Alabama.
Jesus.
But
You
we
just shut yourself off to 300 million people.
that's all
there.
right. We got to
Aircon.
Aircon Charles. Aircon Charles.
Sweating
Boys, it's
balls.
sweaty over here.
We got to America and we flew in. You flew into Nashville. We picked you up in the truck. We had
We
a
had
truck.
a big truck, yeah.
With Crozier, big truck neck, and we went to Alabama.
Alabama University,
yeah.
which is... if
Roll
you-
Tide.
yeah,
Roll Tide.
It's rolling, baby. If you're looking at pinnacles of a sporting organisation, Alabama football,
Scotty Cochran.
is definitely
Scotty Cochran.
Oh, we were so close to meeting him.
No, we saw him in a
Yeah.
truck. He drove past in the truck.
Apparently, I don't know if he was pulling out leg, but apparently he wanted to meet us because we were Aussies. He was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I want to meet those Aussies."
Yeah.
But he was just not the
We
right
sort of got
timing.
we got a wave as you drove past.
For anyone unaware of Scotty Cochran, just YouTube Scotty Cochran.
Where is he now?
Change your
He's
life.
at Auburn now.
I don't know.
Trader. You're a trader, Scott.
Roll Tide.
He was at Alabama for years, wasn't
Yeah, he was there. He was
he? Highest paid S&C coach, 600K, 700K or something.
yeah, at least right up.
Oh no,
there.
the Iowa guy in the potato land. I think he's higher now, 800, I think, which is crazy when you think about it.
Amazing money over there.
Chump change.
Like this is the pro.
But
Yeah.
it's funny rolling around with a bloke like Will Crozier. Like it's just a different.
What were your thoughts
scale.
on him?
Oh, he's a ripping guy.
No, but like him.
Oh, he's like I look at a bloke like Charlie and I go, fuck, Charlie's a thick man. And then Charlie's legs together are like one of his legs.
Yeah, his neck.
His neck.
I remember-
Oh.
His neck is Charlie's torso.
I'm going to throw him under the bus here, but he was huge before we got over there. He was like 120 something kilos. And we flew into Massachusetts and we had a 2-day seminar with Zach Couples and it was pretty cruisy. Like a couple of days there, we didn't really walk around too much. We were just educating ourselves on the ISA. And then we flew to New York and we were living in Brooklyn. And if anyone's ever been to New York, the only way you're really getting around is the subway. Like you've got to walk
Yeah.
to a subway station, get on walk up and down the stairs, down into the subway, cart at 3 or 4 stations, come back up, walk up the stairs, up the top. And Crozier was struggling. He was the biggest he's ever been. And we literally had to take like little breaks because he was so
Is this
big.
when you were riding bikes in New York?
Nah, yeah, we did
Yeah.
we did ride some bikes. And it was just so many steps. He's like, man, I'm not used to this. Like it's so much walking because he for him to get to that size, he has to fucking eat a truckload. But also you got to go the other end. You got to reduce your knee. You got to
minimum.
reduce your. So he just wasn't ready for it. And by the time we got to the competition, which was like 7 weeks or 6 weeks down the track, he'd lost like 10 kilos just from and he was like, man, he was punching brown rice and steaks every day. Like had to
Rice, not
cook.
cones, buzz.
Yeah, rice.
Yeah, well, lucky he doesn't do jiu-jitsu. Maybe he should have done jiu-jitsu. He would have had the munchies a bit more.
But by the time we got to Nashville, he was a bit more fitter. He was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like, Nashville. That was a good time. The honky tonks.
The honky tonks down the main strip of Nashville. I want to get to America with you boys. Like we need to get
Yeah,
there.
it has to
Hey,
happen.
it'll
Never
happen.
been.
It will happen.
For anyone in the S&C landscape, you have to go over there.
Even still,
Like,
just get there and just go do cool shit.
yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't get over there and just see what they do in their sporting landscape or like you can contact pretty much. I'm going to call someone out here. I can call out people on this.
Mate, we love it.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets back to them as well. You contact most American coaches and you go, hey, can I come and just hang out, be a
Shadow.
fly on the wall? You go, I'm a S&C coach from Australia. And they're like, fucking oath. Yeah, love that. And they'll be really receptive. They're really hospitable. There was one guy
Who?
in Florida, Sharif Tabar.
Oh, the
no.
ACL rehab
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
I said, man, I do a lot of ACL rehab as well. I'm really interested. Can I come hang out? He's like, no. I was like, okay.
okay, shut door.
Did he give you a reason?
Nah, not really. But like, I watch some of his stuff now, and I'm like, he's a poser anyway.
Poser.
He works with some of the best, but poser.
Shut out.
I just tangent.
Very
off.
intelligent man, though. Yeah.
Just slight tangent off, and this is in my experience and probably my biggest regret in terms of my own development. Actually, regret enough for no regrets. I'm here, I'm where I am, but whatever. If I was to do my time over, I would have fucked off 3 years of my career and gone to the US.
100%.
100%, because I went to chase exercise and sport science. All right, I'm going to work in footy and try and chase the AFL dream, and then I'm going to try and get my master's in exercise physiology, and then just play up and just get I got to work with a lot of people and different demographics, and as a result, I think I'm a fairly decent coach now, and I get to work with my client list is fairly diverse, yeah, and that's because I got to work with so many demographics. But if I was to do my time over, I would have stopped trying to chase academia and work for peanuts for 3 years and actually go work with some fucking athletes in unbelievable settings in the US. So
We'll
for
get you
anyone
there, mate.
listening,
We'll get you there.
Yeah.
no, it's done now.
No, not to intern. You're not interning. No, you're too important to this fucking place.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get there,
Oh, we'll get there.
and we'll do some shadowing. We'll get in. We'll get in.
In design a tracksuit.
in designer
That's it.
tracksuits.
I want to do some shadow. I even want to come like when you
shadow
do the
box?
speed work next year, like because I haven't had much exposure to that. I haven't really ever, and I'm just curious to learn. Like I'm a powerlifting coach, and
I went down there. I took Chili down there.
Chili down there. But I want to
having
come.
a shit day.
I do want to come down and like suss out and see what you do with them and stuff.
Yeah, we'll film content.
Yeah, get in there.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a unique thing to go and diversify and just see because it's like reading books, right? Like
Yeah.
I've been starting to read some of the finance books that Jamie was telling me to read 3 years ago. I'm just getting around to it now, but
It's all right.
It's all right.
start to diversify and learn some of these skills. And even if you just see people's attitude or their dedication into what they're doing, and you go, all right, like there's maybe one thing that I can take from this and put it into what I do or how I coach or how I communicate with people. And if you're getting a little bit better or learning something new, it's good. The one thing I will bring up is that bloke Napoleon Hill.
Think and Grow Rich.
Think Grow Rich.
yeah.
Yeah. His opinion of
I've
you-
never listened to
of
it.
people. No, have you read
It's
that?
like,
Think Grow
it's like
Rich.
the
You
OG
haven't- yeah.
self-help. Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
like number one.
I don't know how he had
Number
any
one.
friends because like he basically just says if someone's telling you something that's not relevant to what you're doing
Did you?
right there and then, it's useless information and walk away.
Yeah, it's the original Rise and Grinder
Yeah.
Sigma grind set.
Sigma
1
grind
minute
set.
count for every minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 minute intervals.
How are you benefiting me right now?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Tell me.
Don't-
Tell me. No, I've never actually read
Time
that
is
book.
dollars,
The
brother.
finance book that I highly recommend if you run a business, Profit First. Please get on it. Change your life.
I tried to find it at a bookstore. They didn't have it.
It's all right. Download.
I'll buy it for you if you want. If I'll find it for you.
30th
30th
birthday,
birthday
present.
present.
I'll find it for you and I'll buy it
Grand
for you. It's unreal. The other thing that I wouldn't mind because we did speak about this loosely with Tom Wilson, but Jamie Sackville, you brought him up earlier.
Yes.
So
Mr.
he's
Air.
so he's the punter that left Australia, went over there to college. Where did he end up?
He was at SMU, Southern
Yeah.
Methodist in Dallas. So yeah.
And I heard he was going to get traded to Alabama. Did that ever come through?
Well, he was looking at shopping himself around for his final year because he
Yeah.
missed a year, so he had another year of eligibility. But he ended up deciding that business is where he wanted to go and really develop. Like, man, he would be unreal to get on this.
oh, we
and
do.
speak to-
Yeah.
He'll be in Melbourne sometime.
Whenever
this
he's
year, I
in.
think.
Yeah.
And he wants
Yeah,
to
I'll-
buy the Saints.
Oh, he wants to buy the Saints. He will buy the Saints. That's
I
what
hope he does.
But from coaching him from an early age, like he was probably my most demanding client I've ever had. And I've had a lot of demanding clients. I'm sure we all have in this room. But he would be on me every second about, all right, what we're doing, why we're doing it, where's it going to progress to. He'd be like, oh, I want to train 4 days a week. And I was just like, all right, this guy had the dedication and the attitude from get-go. And you can see people that are going to be successful. And he's just one of those people. Like Jamie with his marketing ploys now. He just starts tagging people and fucking manifesting. Yeah, hunts them. So I'm hunting Puma.
Puma.
Yeah, I'm after
Puma's around the corner. We can go
that's
knock on their
right.
door if you want.
Local.
Yeah.
You got it? Grow local. Stay local.
Yeah.
Humour's local.
Nah, do you with the app and all that sort of stuff, do you think that sort of stuff will come over to Australia and get these young kids like a young Jamie to get over to America? Do you think that will become more of a viable opportunity for Aussie kids?
Yeah, I think the Australian market for punting is kind of monopolised by Pro Kick at the moment.
Pro Kick.
I think there's a major competitor now that's coming into the picture, but they just get kids to scholarships everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and big universities as well. And some of the Aussie punters going over there are some of the best in the country. There's a fair few of them playing in
They
the
would
AFL.
surely love the Aussie kids.
Yeah,
big,
well,
big kickers.
We learn how to kick a ball from a really young age and manipulate the ball, which is a big thing. Over there, their field kickers are soccer players and their punters are AFL guys now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's still a big spread of... There's just too many people in America. There's a big spread of just American guys who kick footballs in the air. But
They get paid $1 million per kick.
yeah, well, mate, Michael Dixon, who's an Aussie guy, he's at Seattle. I think he signed $3 or $4 million a year contract.
Probably kicks the ball twice a game.
Yeah, it varies. It varies depending on who you're playing and the conditions. However, there was a couple games this year where there were no punts either side. So imagine you're getting paid.
Cashing
Let's
that
say
check.
you're getting paid $100K to just sit there, 200, 300K to sit there and go. It's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad gig.
Is not bad. And the final little bit would be this Thursday. We're on for our 4th Hectic Eats, which is the jewel in the crown.
Yeah, this is
This is it, boys. What are your
Copenhagen.
thoughts?
I can't wait. Can't wait. I've got goosebumps thinking about it.
Talk us through it, Buzz. What do we got?
We've got, for heaven's steaks, Clayton steak sandwiches. It's a big part of my youth.
We've got the
And
special guest.
Everyone's heard about it. We've got 2 special guests, Jarrad Kay and Tom Wilson.
The universe.
Jarrad loves it. Tom has never
Tom's
had
never
it.
had it.
Never been.
Talk us through the
so-
steak sandwich, Jarrad. What are your thoughts on it?
Hey, I've been rolling in solo to For Heaven's Steaks now for probably 4 years. I just roll in there, eat by myself. I do a lot of eating by myself.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
It's
Love
good.
it.
I said to my partner, Sammy, I said, I eat by myself all the time. She goes, I don't think I've ever done that.
Really?
I'm like,
Sambulance. What are you doing?
well, you're obviously not a bloody S&C coach.
And then the other one would be Marco Schnitzel. So your gym's in behind Marco Schnitzel. I think that's going to be episode number 5.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
We
we're
need to
gonna
tick
hit
that off.
anyone who is in Moorabbin, and I'm sure a lot of people who listen to this potty, listen, know Marco Schnitzel. It's an institution in Moorabbin, and they know Marco. Marco's a funny, charismatic guy. I went in there the other day, and I'm like, Marco, we're going on Hectic Eats. And he's like,
He has no idea.
yeah, he has no idea. He's like, what'd you say? I'm like, don't worry.
We haven't
He's like-
spoken to him yet.
And then he just goes with he's salsa, chili.
Yeah, he knows your
Yes,
order.
mate, yes.
He
all of
remembers
it.
all your orders.
So
All
funny
of it.
thing about Marco is Kyle Traynor pissed a lot of people off from the areas last week with his
The best steak sandwich. Best
best schnitzel
in the areas, whatever.
in Melbourne or Victoria, something like that. I got so many messages, people like, this guy obviously doesn't know Marco Schnitzel,
yeah.
does he?
Maybe we'll take Kyle there and be like, hey, this
Yeah,
is number
We'll
one.
suss it out.
We'll suss it out.
Just we'll go buy that one, bring it back to Marco's and light it on
Compare
fire out the front.
Yeah, throw it on the ground.
Content,
spike it.
baby.
Protest.
Hector's
Protest.
Deli.
Hector's
I know
Deli,
you've been
yeah,
told about
yeah.
Hector's Deli.
We're going to do that one.
Actually, where's your top 8 in Melbourne?
Or
Either low end,
top eight.
low end like under $20,
No,
or
start
high end.
areas first.
Or
Areas.
areas.
It's got to be Marcos.
Areas.
5 to 10K, 5K radius.
Yeah, I reckon it's for Heaven's Steaks. I reckon I'm on that bandwagon. I've been singing their praises for many years. I used to, even when I coached a football team, I used to take the kids who I drove to footy. I'd be like, "All right, we're stopping off for food. I'll buy a sandwich." I either take them to For Heaven's Steaks or tell them to go to Marco's, and they just come back singing my praises, going, "That's the best feeds I've ever had."
Yeah, one of my rules around For Heaven's Steaks is, you know when you try not to play something up. I'd play it up as much as possible, and I let people know. And if they don't, if they're just not about it, like it's just every time afterwards, I can sort of just be like, "I was right, wasn't I?" Just let them know. And
Here's a
they know.
spanner for you for Marco's. Ready? This is the Marco's spanner. Get the chicken thigh.
I get the chicken thigh.
Yeah, chicken thigh's
Yeah, yeah.
crazy,
Oh,
man.
fuck, I thought I was one out.
No,
there.
we'll get
no.
a chicken thigh when we go to Marco's for sure.
Hey, brother, I eat. Don't forget who you're talking
I
to.
haven't had Marco's for ages.
Yeah, no,
Poser.
we'll do it. We'll go do
Jamie
it.
and I
Poser.
used to slant. Nah, the
Nah,
first,
we used to
I'm
fucking
calling
do it.
Charlie out here.
the first 2 years of
I heard about his cheat meal the other week.
What cheat meal?
Didier just took him to town. The bloody chicken and rice.
Chicken parma, chicken breast. No, the chicken breast.
What are you talking about?
When you said, "Oh, what's your favorite cheat meal?" and you're like, "Oh, chicken
Oh, no,
breast,
it's like
and,
a pasta-
and
pasta,
high,
yeah.
high fiber
No,
pasta."
the question was a high calorie meal, not a cheat meal.
I actually got to go back to do the math on this. I worked first job McDonald's,
Crazy.
Same.
and I worked there with
Restaurant.
two of my good mates at the time. We used to get up to no good, fuck
Nuggets.
around. We actually got some funny stories about McDonald's. They can't bloody sue me now, can they?
Nah.
Yeah, fuck you, McDonald's.
No, hey, I will.
Yeah.
Eat nuggets and drink vanilla thick
So-
shakes.
I used to do the drive-through, take the orders, and I'd be like, "Oh, welcome to McDonald's. What can I get for you?" And then they'd tell me the order, and the other bloke down the line, John Gillard,
John Gillard, yeah, crazy.
funny guy, but he'd be like, sorry, the soft serve machine's broken." Well, it fucking wasn't. He just couldn't be fucking making a soft serve. It started getting to the lengths of people would ask for chicken and be like, "Oh, sorry, no chicken." It just butted. It'd be my voice than his voice. And, it was pretty bloody funny. And then Red Rooster was, you know how at Centre, well, I'm not going to say the McDonald's.
Yeah,
You can figure it out yourself.
Yeah,
Red Rooster's
I know
right near.
exactly which
I
one
know
it
what
is.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
So we used to go to the cool room, the fridge room, and we used to get a carton of eggs, and we used to launch them over the fence.
Here we go.
And this is why I work for myself.
Mum actually wants us to do a segment on some of our first jobs, like our initial jobs. I reckon that'd be funny.
That'd be really funny. I remember I got fired from Macca's, and I rolled in. I just didn't rock up for like 2 weeks. I rolled in. They're like, "What are you doing here?" I go, "Oh, well, just doing my shift." And they go, "Nah, you're fired." And I was like, "All right." See ya.
So yeah.
I worked at Harris Scarf. I was my first job. I worked the door, so I was like front of house. I had no idea what anything. So they brought me in, and like, where's this? I'd never worked the floor, so I never knew where anything was. I'm like, it's in that general direction. Anyway, this manager, absolute prick, and I'd work 8-hour shifts.
Oof.
8 hours is like, this little 15-year-old shit. You can just stay there. 8 hours, I'd stand at the front of the store, not do anything else.
It's such an important position as well.
Oh, bro. Anyway, so one day I was like, I'm going to just go and I need to take a day off. And I walk in there and I'm like, hey, man, I've got to take this day off. Is it possible to get a cover? And he starts ripping me. He's like, your family must have a lot of money. I'm like, what? I'm like, 15, you idiot. Like, you think I pay bills? He's like, your family must have a lot of money for you to get a shift covered. And I'm like, man, I quit. And I walked out halfway through the shift.
Yeah, see
Fuck
you
that
later.
guy.
Nah, fuck that guy.
15-year-old heavy.
Yeah. Started early.
It's funny to reflect on now though when you go into just a general store and you ask some young pimpled up kid, hey, where's this? And they just give you some random answer. And you walk over there, say like you go to aisle 10 and you're like, what the fuck, this ain't near aisle 10. You're like, I remember being that
was
just
me.
smart ass
They've
kid who
got
didn't give an
no
absolute fuck
no
about
idea.
what's going on.
Charlie, you worked at Macca's, didn't you?
I did Macca's, yep.
What did
It was a job.
It was a job.
Ate nuggets. Ate a lot of nuggets.
Oh.
And a lot of vanilla thick shakes.
So I got sidetracked. So I used to regularly make myself pounders.
Yeah. Oh, four stack.
4 stacks.
No
I feel
way.
like pounders have gone out of fashion.
Man,
Let's bring them back.
I ate that once with Andy.
The gates.
Health.
And
I think it's more like figuring out what the go is with heart disease and that. I think that's probably
I've never had a pounder.
Nah, I had a couple in one time.
A double quarter pounder is perfect, and I'm just happy with that.
Meat sweats.
Oh.
Meat
The
sweats.
burger's sweaty and then you are. It's fucking
Mate,
drenched,
the
man.
fucking carton that it comes in
wet,
turns
wet.
into like
Yeah.
fucking
I'm not interested.
mash
mad.
fucking.
We went to lengths of
mache.
going
You'd
2
eat that.
chicken, 2 meat. So we're like mixing them and oh man, age is a wonderful thing now. Like it's actually also a bitch. I eat meat now, and I go if I eat meat, I'll have meat mares often.
You used to get the sweats, mate.
Meat mares, the sweats. I get indigestion.
He gets indigestion, mate. I'd be sitting on the couch watching a documentary. He's like, I'm going to bed. An hour goes past. He comes back. He's like, I can't sleep. I've got
Man,
indigestion.
you can tell, like,
Remember the milk?
I'm just thinking age. The amount of times this past week I've heard someone say, I need Gaviscon or I need fucking Quick Ease. I'm like, just the need for
You need a
antacids.
sponsorship from
I was
Antacids.
on
What's
the
going
quick,
on?
I was on the quick Ease before anyone.
My Lanta
10
hit me
years
up.
ago.
It's like
Ease
everyone.
tablets.
I'd never heard of it for like 8 years. I've never experienced heartburn because I'm healthy and that. And then just out of nowhere, everyone's got heartburn. I'm like, fuck
What's
me.
the-
it must
what's
be
the,
I've been
strong
having
one.
it for years.
The strong
it's
one.
Mylanta,
one.
there's
The-
Gaviscon.
Oh yeah,
Guardian?
Yeah.
To be honest, I must be doing something wrong with my diet because I haven't had heartburn for a while.
Oh, that's a.
I used to get it all
that's
the
a
time.
Flex.
But it's
Look at
that
this
high
guy. Look at this
fiber.
guy flexing over here.
Fucking
Cheat meals, that high fiber pasta with the fucking chicken breast.
chicken breast and broccoli. I'm calling out the cheat meal thing. It wasn't cheat meal. It was a high calorie food. I interpreted the question wrong.
Call it what you want, Mr. Shredder. Fucking.
Tell us
Hey,
how it is.
Pretty much everything fucking sets me off. Whether it's red wine, hot
Brown
food,
brown
bread
liquor.
stuff.
Brown liquor.
Oh yeah, liquor's bad.
Punchy Jarrad.
Wrap it up because we're at an hour. Where can people find you? Where can people, young kids who are listening and want to get into S&C training, sprint training for their athletic endeavours?
Hopefully they still think I'm a good role model after these stories. But so the Speed Project, if you want to get fast, you can look us up at the Speed Project Melb on Instagram. We also have a website, punch in the Speed Project. Hopefully it comes up number 1. If you want to have a look at what I'm doing, coach.jarradk, that's my Instagram handle. Very responsive, so if you want to hit me up and just general chit chat or ask me a question, I'll get back to you. And then the gym at the 6th Principal. We're just trying to do good things and go
Crazy.
from there.
Love it. We'll see you on Thursday for Hectic Eats,
Hectic Eats.
steak sandwich, and we're done.